Hello. Hello, and welcome to Somewhere on the Spectrum. I'm Emma, and we are talking about. Oh, by the way, I got my computer back. Yay! Editing will not immediately resume. I'm going to have a go at editing some of the live streams to see if I can make official videos with them, because it seems like some folks maybe don't even realize the live streams are there. And also see if I can make some shorts out of them. I now have my computer back. I now have to put all of the things back on my computer that were there before. It's all going to take a little while. And as I mentioned last week, I am leaving. I'm going away for 2 weeks. So there will not be any videos during that period. So to deal with that situation, I will be doing another live next Sunday. I've already put it up on the site. I think you can sign up for it or something. Who knows? If you want to come along to that, which will be about joy. Yay! This one is about baby talk. This is a subject that was requested by one of my friends who finds herself slipping into baby talk at the least opportune moments, shall we say. Yeah. I understand that experience. I have my swinging chair back. I'm Emma. I think I mentioned that. I can't remember if I did. Anyway, so let me know in the comments if you use baby talk. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you don't use baby talk and you don't need to worry and you can move on. If you use baby talk, when does it pop up and how does it make you feel? For the people that I've spoken to, not everybody uses baby talk. A lot of people don't even know what it is, but there definitely seems to be a subsection that absolutely do. And baby talk often comes when they feel tired or vulnerable, and they struggle to prevent it. So everybody feels a great deal of shame about baby talk is a key point. I find that I use it less and less these days. Although I caught myself doing it this afternoon, and that was just me by myself. So it's very possible that I'm doing it by myself and I have no awareness that I'm doing it. So I think that I'm not using it as much, but I'm just not paying attention. I think part of the challenge when you live by yourself, you don't have that mirror reflecting you or anyone to comment on what you're doing. So it's quite easy to lose track. Embarrassingly, though, it always used to appear when I was tired. That's the main one for me. And when I was with a crush, not ideal. So for me, the most memorable, upsetting, I guess we could say, the most memorable story when it comes to baby talk for me, and I suppose in a way, maybe this made me more conscious of it and more careful, because I used to use baby talk all the time when I was younger. And especially as a teenager, it was really, really common for me to slip into it. And it was kind of fun, I think, at that time, was kind of how I was thinking about it. I wasn't really concerned or worried about it, although my mother would point it out fairly regularly. But on this particular occasion, I had a crush. I am with all of those people who had a crush because of Terminator 2 and Eddie Furlong. Now, that did not age well. Now we're embarrassed. But at the time, it was a real thing. And there were two boys that I had a crush on because of that movie. And neither of them were a good idea. So this particular boy was a friend of my, or an elder brother of my brother's friend. He was, I think, a year older than me. He was very cool. He's still very cool. He sails in yachts. Some people, I don't know. Anyway, he was very cool. I definitely had a crush on him, mostly because of Eddie Furlong. I don't really remember having a crush due to any personality excitement that may have existed. And I remember going out with him, and somehow there ended up just being the two of us. I don't know how that occurred. I probably managed to engineer it some way. I don't know. Anyway, I probably thought it was a good idea at the time. I remember that I spent a lot of time using baby talk because I was feeling very, very nervous, probably quite excited. Um, and I may or may not have been tired. I was a teenager, so I was probably tired. I stayed up a lot late when I was a teenager reading books. And I remember using it a lot. And at the time, struggling, thinking why am I talking like this? I shouldn't be talking like this. And I remember looking at him and him looking at me with this like face, like, what is that about? That's weird. And it was only like afterwards when I got home that I was processing it and thinking, oh, that probably wasn't a good idea. And I don't think he ever spoke to me again in a normal way. I think there was very much a distance put between us then, which frankly was probably a good thing. That I didn't need to be getting involved in any of that business. It was probably a good thing. But at the time, it was very heartbreaking because I, got attached, as I say, mainly because he looked like someone else, which isn't the best way to start anything. So the outcome was probably not terrible, though it felt pretty bad at the time. And definitely that sort of shame and frustration with myself because I couldn't control it, even though I was aware that I didn't really want to be speaking like that. I couldn't really control it and change it. So that's that kind of element of, when you're nervous and you have a crush on someone, you just do silly things, regret it later. I have not figured out where it comes from yet. So let me know if you have figured out where it comes from. I don't know if it's a flashback to when we were kids, if it's a security thing, exactly what the motivation is. I was kind of surprised when my friend mentioned it to realize that I was not the only person who did this. So yeah, let me know if you figured out a source. I have not figured out a source. So there is a name for this, not for the baby talk. I think we just call it baby talk, but for why is this a thing? It's called impaired inhibitory control, and it is related to impulsivity and executive function. And effectively, this operates the same way. The baby talk operates the same way as, say, if we're blurting out something that we shouldn't say. So we don't have control over it. It's not a choice. So that's the key point with this. Impaired inhibitory control is all about you not being able to control your impulses. And also a little bit of that, you're not inhibited the same way as other people might be. So I think that's one of the things with baby talk. The perception is different to the internal experience of it. So our internal experience of it may start out being fun and funny, but then after a while it switches and it becomes something that we can't control. And as I say, it appears when we're nervous or tired. So at that point, we're not able to resist that impulse to use it. And so that's where the inhibitory control comes in. Unfortunately, it is often seen by others as us trying to be cute or ingratiate ourselves with someone. Never a good look. It is often seen as a manipulation tool. Awkward, which is frustrating when so many autistics say they have no control of it. So this is really the crux of the matter in this situation. Internally, we have a shame about it. We have an awareness that it's inappropriate, and very often we don't want to be doing it when we're doing it. But externally, other people are seeing it as us trying to ingratiate ourselves with someone, so trying to manipulate a situation in our benefit. That could potentially be because of other societal or cultural factors that suggest that this is a cute way to talk to someone. So someone thinks, oh, you're flirting now, or something like that. In Korea, there's a term called aegyo, which is specifically about creating cuteness in yourself. So aegyo is that if you ever see any, especially K-pop, Korean K-pop female singers, you'll see a lot of them have got very excessive cuteness to the point where it's like drag. whether it's the way that they do their face or their hair up, and then they're like little smiles like this, and the kissy things like this. All of that, plus the very high pitched voice, is all part of Egyo. And Egyo is really about making yourself more cute to other people. I think probably originally as a draw to men, which tells us an awful lot, and it's kind of creepy. But now it's part of the wider culture, including pop culture and idol culture and that kind of thing. So effectively, we could put this into a similar box for some people, where you're putting on the baby voice to try and attract someone, or try and get someone on your side, or try and be cute for some reason. That's not what's happening with us autistics, though. And that's the frustrating part. That's the difficult thing. How do you explain this and get someone to realize that you're not doing this for fun? To me, it feels like some kind of regression, especially since it comes on in tiredness. It's like the mass drops and we lose years. There is some element there of reverting back to a previous version of myself. Maybe not pre-mask, but certainly part of it is that. And I think that's like the tiredness. I don't know about you, but for me, the tiredness makes it much harder for me to maintain the mask in any way. So there's an element of that. But because of the intersection between the tiredness in us and the assumption in others, baby talk often leads to misunderstandings, rejection sensitivity, and even shutdown and meltdown. So if you are already in a difficult situation, especially if you're perhaps in a confrontational situation or some kind of dangerous situation, then this becomes much harder. It's very possible that this could have developed as a survival mechanism for you. And then when you're tired, it comes back. But if you're pushed into that kind of confrontational situation where you're basically back into fight or flight survival, I think this is kind of an element of fawning that we can find. Nowadays they talk a lot about, we used to talk about fight, freeze, or flight as options for survival. And fawning is one of the new things that's been added to that list. And this is potentially an element of that, where you're, again, ingratiating yourself with somebody else, but potentially in the past you were doing that as a survival instinct. So then if we do that as an adult, we're in that situation, we do the baby talk, then we get panicked that we're doing the baby talk, we're getting upset with ourselves because we can't control the fact that we're doing the baby talk. We can perceive somebody else as seeing us in a way that we don't want to be seen in that moment. And then that situation continues to escalate, then that can definitely lead us into shutdown and meltdown, especially if that person misunderstands what we're doing and then tells us that they don't want us to behave like this, or they don't want us to manipulate them like this. Then that can hit off our rejection sensitivity, because we're thinking, well, I'm not trying to do that. And then that can escalate. So we end up having a meltdown, which again, we have no control over. So it often feels like the harder we try to control the baby talk, the more problematic it becomes, that cycle that I just mentioned. It could pop up in interviews, in intimate moments, and in arguments, none of which are great, or crushes. Not good. So basically we're at the point where everything, it comes up at the worst moment, and then it makes everything worse. So let me know if this is something that you experience, if this makes any sense to you, and if you have figured out where did it come from and how it has influenced your life. Let me know in the comments. I would be very curious to know if it's just me and my friend, or I know there's a few more of us out there, but how many more of us? How big is this thing? Let me know. I would love to know. Click like if you do baby talk, and let us know your thoughts in the comments, and please share if you find this useful. And I will be back on Sunday. I think I've put it down for 4:30, which is when I finish my class on Sunday. So if you would like to come live, do go and find that on the site and click to go along to that. And we will be talking about joy. You can read, I think you should be able to read the description and now, so you'll know what it's about. Anyway, hope to see you there, and have a great week. It's Wednesday. Have a great week. See you next time. Bye.